Namaste and hi there. Welcome to your next Indian fusion cooking lesson, especially for the Bridport guides, but for anyone else who's enjoying these crazy cooking lessons in this time. So today we're going to make masala eggs, and they're a particular specialty of the family that I hang out with a lot in India, and they're Gujarati heritage. So these eggs are a favourite of mine and have been for many years, so I thought I would share them with you today. This is what you need to make masala eggs. So when you're going to make masala eggs, of course you need eggs. And there's no reason these days why you can't be buying free-range eggs and being kind to chickens. So some nice free-range eggs. And then we've got salt at the back here today. And we've got two different kinds of salt today because I'm going to use the cheapo iodized salt when I boil the eggs, but I'm going to use my nice rock salt for flavouring. Then we've got some papadums because, in Australia we call them papadum, or in many parts of the world, but in India we call them papas, and I'm going to show you a quick way to cook those today in the microwave, cheap version. And then we have some oil over here in the oil dabba, in the oil container. And then we have a particular kind of spice in this box called asafoetida or hing. And it's not 100% necessary to have this spice for this dish, but the reason I use it is because it gives a nice flavour, kind of an onion garlic flavour without using onion and garlic in the dish. You can buy it at Indian grocery in Launceston, but in these days we're not going to Launceston, so just missed that one out, but I'm going to put it in mine today because it was in my cupboard. And then we've got our masala dabba here with our spices in it, and today we're going to use mustard seeds, and we're going to use chili powder, which is here, and we're going to use turmeric. The other things that you need today are a pot and some water, which I have in my kettle, but it's just cold water. We're not using boiling water. So water, your pot, and over here, my microwave oven for cooking my cheap version of papadum. So the first thing you need to do to make this version of masala eggs is to boil some eggs. And so just in case you've never boiled egg before, I'm going to show you how to boil some eggs. So this pot is sitting on the stovetop, but the stovetop is not on yet. So I like to boil my eggs in a cold pan because there's less chance of that hairy stuff coming out of the eggs. So this is how I do it. I use my beautiful free-range eggs, and it's only me today. So because I can't have anyone over right now. So I'm going to put 2 eggs because that's all I want to eat. I'm going to eat these eggs for breakfast, by the way. So I'm popping these 2 eggs in the pan. And the reason why I put the eggs in before the water is just so that I can sit them nicely on the bottom of the pan and not have to drop them in. Then I put the water into the pot, and I just cover the eggs with the cold water. And then to be extra careful so that the hairy stuff doesn't come out of the egg in case one of the shells is a little bit cracked that you can't see or whatever, I use a little bit of salt. So just sprinkle some salt into the pot. And then that's it. I'm ready to turn on my pot. So I turn the hot plate on now, and I'm going to put the lid on so that it will boil faster. And then what I'm watching for here is, as soon as the water starts to boil, then I want to put my timer on. And I don't like my eggs to be too hard, but I also don't want them in this dish to be runny. So I'm going to put my timer on and I'm going to boil these eggs for 5 minutes, but once the water comes to the boil. So they're the things that you have to watch for. And we'll be back soon. Here's our eggs. They've come to the boil. I'm going to put the lid back on. And while we're waiting for 5 minutes for these to get to the right balance, the right kind of cookedness for me, I'm going to show you how to make the papad in the microwave. All right, so traditionally in India, you would drop your papadum into some oil, or you would roast it directly on a flame, on a gas cooker or on a fire. But here we are in Australia doing fusion Indian cooking, so we're going to pop these papads in the microwave. So this is my favourite brand of papadum, which I buy at an Indian grocer in Launceston. They must like me a lot at that store. But you can buy these at Bridport Topshop or any other grocery store that you frequent. So this today I just want to eat 2 of these with my 2 eggs. So I'm going to take 2 papads and I'm going to pop them into the microwave, also known in my house as the microbus. So I just pop them in there and then I hit the quick start and let them zoom around for 30 seconds. And then after 30 seconds, I'm going to just flip them over, because those of you who are familiar with using the microwave, the heat comes more into the center. So I just flip them over and then do 30 seconds on the other side. I'll show you what they look like when our 30 seconds is up, which is in 10 seconds. All right, well, these ones don't need a flip or anything. They're looking perfect. So I'm not going to do the second 30 seconds, which is why it's really good just to do them for 30 seconds and then to check if you need a second lot of 30 seconds. Maybe if you're doing more papadum or you have a thicker papadum, you might need to do it a little bit longer. So 30 seconds and then the check. And I didn't use any paper on my microwave glass thing, but if you want to, you can, of course. The eggs have been boiling for 5 minutes, so I'm going to just remove them from the stovetop, and I'm going to tip the water and the eggs directly into my nice clean sink. There you go. There they are, the eggs going down the drain, and now I'm just going to pop them back into the pan with some cold water on them. So here they are back in the pan with just a little bit of cold water so that I can peel them. So I'm just going to tap the, whoop, still a bit warm. Just going to tap the egg against the side of the pan and then peel them. Be back in a sec. Here's what my beautiful peeled eggs look like. And I've put my egg peeling into the compost, and then I've dried out rinsed the pot and dried it out, because I'm going to use the same pan for now making the masala egg on the stove. Always good to use the same pan so you don't have double washing up. Alright, so let's go with the next bit. This is the fun part, yeah? So I'm putting the pan back on the hot plate that's turned on, and then I'm going to slice my eggs. So you can slice your eggs anyway. Oh, look at that beautiful soft boiled egg. So I like to cut mine in half and then in thirds, but you can cut your eggs any old way that suits you. So there they are. And now that the pan has been getting nice and warm there, so I'm going to put some oil into the pan. Now, when I talk about putting some oil into the pan, I just popped, I don't know, maybe a tablespoon or something. Yeah, so maybe a tablespoon of oil for 2 eggs, but if you're cooking more eggs, you'll need a little bit more oil. And then I'm going to put in my spices. So just hold on one sec and we'll turn the camera around. Now the oil in the pan is warm. I'm going to drop in some mustard seeds first. So from my masala dabba, my spice box, I'm going to take a teaspoon of mustard oil and put that into the pan. So mustard seeds are really interesting. If the oil is a little bit too hot, they will immediately start to spit and spray everywhere around the kitchen. But I didn't want that to happen immediately, so I've popped them in and just going to wait for them to start to pop. Then I'm going to put in some turmeric, maybe half a teaspoon, so put that in as well, and then some chili, and I don't want mine too spicy today, and this chili powder is quite strong, so I'm going to put in about 1/4 teaspoon of chili powder. And then, as I mentioned before, I have this nice hing or asafoetida, so I'm just going to use a little bit of that for flavouring. Don't need very much at all. And then these spices are starting to release their flavour. So we've talked about it before, but the reason for doing this with the spices before you put your eggs or anything else into your pan when you're doing Indian cooking is because this releases the flavours. So I'm just going to stir this around and wait for those mustard seeds to pop a little. You can probably hear the sizzling. It smells really beautiful. You can hear the mustard seed popping now. I hope so. Yeah? So now I'm going to add the egg to the pan. I've added the egg to the pan and just coating the egg with the spice. Now, because the egg's already cooked, there isn't a need to have this cooking here for very long at all. Just make sure that all of your egg is coated with the spice. I'm going to add some salt and then we'll be ready. Look at the colour of that beautiful masala egg. I've added some salt, and so now it's ready to go on the plate. So here's my masala egg and popped, and according to me, Indian food is best eaten with the hand. So I'm going to enjoy my breakfast now. I hope you guys have enjoyed learning how to make masala egg, and catch you next week.